Well, if you wanted things to change, that one may have done it. Game 17 in the Maple Leaf season. And I mean, in some ways, the score is going to be deceiving in terms of how fucking pathetic that was that we just saw from this group out there tonight. I mean, to go and respond to the loss on Saturday, to the loss on Sunday, the way you lost those games, the way you were being challenged and called out, whether it was by the fan base, the media, the coaches, whoever the fuck it was that you want to point to and say they were calling you out, there's no response. There's no effort. There's no get up from these guys until it's too late. And that's been the story of this group the entire time they've been here. You know, you look back to the beginning, and you can make all you want about what's gone on with this group since Brad Treliving has got here, since Craig Berube has got here, and we'll talk about it through the course of the show here tonight. I got no problem getting into all of that. It's all entirely fair game, especially after this one here tonight. But there have been fucking mistake after mistake after mistake about roster decisions and whatever. But ultimately, the one thing that I'm going to continue to come back to as we go throughout all of this and dissect all the bullshit we just saw on the fucking ice tonight is the fact that there was a significant culture issue from the day these guys got here to where we are right now, and nothing has changed any of it. Coaches, GMs, depth guys, secondary pieces, defense, it does not fucking matter. None of it has mattered because the nucleus of this group has been gutless, ballless, and a bunch of fucking cowards the entire time. Really skilled players. They drafted great players, but the combination of these guys never has worked. They missed opportunities, and they just continued to say, it will work, it will work, it will work, and put the trust back in them, and it never fucking worked. And now here you are at the point where it is more than likely too late for this to be salvaged in any sort of way, and you are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. To just watch these guys go out there and lay a fucking egg. I don't give a shit that it finished 5-3, and they pushed back, and it was 4-3, and it was close. I don't give a fuck. That is irrelevant. If you watched anything that took place here tonight from start to finish, it is unbelievably pathetic to go out there and play that style of hockey in a game in which you are trying to effectively save your season. Like, it's game 17. It's obviously not actually a literal must-win game, but if there was ever a must-win that wasn't a must-win, that's a must-fucking-win game. And you went out there with your dick between your legs trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. That's a pathetic effort. That has to be the end of this. Coach, players on this group, I don't know who it is, but heads have to roll tomorrow because that is enough. That cannot continue, and you cannot throw that out there again. You have minimal bullets left that you can fire at this point, whether it is the coach, if it's just gassing Treliving and bringing somebody else in, if it's going into the room and trading somebody, I don't know, but you need to be waking up tomorrow morning ready to change things, not like, oh, what are we going to do about David Kampf and Calle Järnkrok? Fuck that. That is not the answer here. That is what this team has done year after year after year, is looking around and going, oh, can these secondary pieces be the ones to change things? They are not, they never were, and they never will be. It is pathetic to have shown up tonight and put forth that type of effort and expected things to go well. Not from a fan perspective. You know, we can sit here and have hoped that things would have been better all we want, and that's completely fair. But just watching that is just unbelievably mind-boggling. Like, I can't even begin to understand. I'm not in the NHL. I was not even ever close, but just even knowing what I had gone through playing minor hockey, junior sports, whatever, just to know that kind of situation was on the line and you had your backs against the wall like that, to show up or the lack of show up in that instance from the opening puck drop, fucking unbelievable. I don't know how you get to this point. I don't know how you show up like this. Like, this is, I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of what we just saw there. I don't know what to make of what we just saw there. Like, we'll break it all down, but what the fuck just happened? To help us break this one down and maybe provide some more clarity on all of it, the man with a much better mustache, I think, than mine here right now, Nick Alberga. Nikolai, how you doing tonight?
I think a bit better than you, having said that I had avocado for dinner and the smell of my farts reminiscent of how the Leafs are playing right now. So there's that. How are you, buddy? You taking a breath here? I know it's tough. It's tough.
You coming in here probably helps, because then otherwise it's just me going like this and snowballing for like 45, 50 an hour here. So probably does give me a breather, but that you agree, right? Like this is a game. This is this is a team defining, organization defining moment here tonight. This is not a season defining situation. This is a shit's got to change type of moment.
Well, firstly, I want to say you off the hopper here, coming in hot. It reminds me of like your first go of things whenever your age is, and you just want to get to the climax as quickly as possible. That's you right now. You are in one. I get it. To answer your question, I think what I try to do is bring a level of experience, if I want to call it that, to our sort of, we have so many array of different personalities, and that's a great thing that makes the Leafs Nation tick. I think it's difficult for me, because if there's one thing I've learned in like 15 years or whatever it's been covering this league, is like, don't get too high, too low. And Rosie brings it up quite a bit. I will say this, for the first time this season, I am genuinely concerned at the product, where it's like, I've been pushing it to the shot side every time they lose this way. And I'm like, you know what? They're going to be okay. There's going to be a response. And then they get to this game. They have this abysmal weekend against Boston and Carolina. And you're like, oh, there's got to be a pushback. Like, they got called out by their coach. Stolarz got pulled. And then that's the way they come out in the first period. That was super concerning. And then on top of that, like, the cherry on top was the way they came out in the second period. So Stolarz leaves, Hildeby comes in, and right away they go to giving up 2-on-0s and 3-on-1s and odd man rushes. The only path that leads me now to Zach is that this team has given up on the coach and the messaging, because we've talked about it a lot throughout the early season. Pretty direct in what they want, they being the coaching staff, and the team's not following through right now at all.
Yeah. No, that's it. Like, we can make as much as we want about Craig Berube, and yeah, maybe that he's not the best coach in the world. Maybe Craig Berube, is not the right coach for this group. Sure, that's all fair. Like, we can have that conversation, but at the end of the day, systems and whatever aside, there is obviously a disconnect here between coach and players, even just with messaging and how it's coming across. And just the most frustrating part to me, where I was trying over the last 16 games, even in the postgame show, trying to give Craig Berube a bone and say, hey, maybe it's not just that. And even still here today, where I will say this has to be the last game for Craig Berube. Like, I mean, I like him. Personality-wise, I think that's it. I don't know how you get through the rest of the day tomorrow with Craig Berube still as your coach. You're coming back to Toronto. You've got a home game on Thursday against the LA Kings. I just don't know what happens on Thursday against LA that tells you anything differently about them showing up, or whatever the fuck could possibly happen in that game that would say, yeah, maybe this thing can still work. I don't think it works. You've got a bullet to fire. You're not going to be able to trade one of the big boys. You had the guy to spare last year. That's kind of it. But the thing that's frustrating to me is just you went from Mike Babcock, and it was like, oh, we don't like this guy, so we stopped responding. Gone. Sheldon Keefe comes in. I think Keefe is probably a good coach, but ultimately I think part of the problem with Keefe here was it was the wrong timing for the group, because I think he's a nice guy. I think he has an ability to snap, but it kind of seemed like it was always like, maybe more of a player's coach or lending to being more forgiving with those guys, which ultimately I think has fostered this culture that you have now, helped foster it at least. I don't think he's the root of the problem, but I think helps foster it. And now Craig Berube comes through here, Nick, and it's just like, here's a guy who goes the other way. He comes in, he lays the hammer down, he gets angry. You see him behind the bench, he's screaming, fuck me, fuck you, fuck this, fuck it all, and no response. I mean, that's part of the problem here this season. I still don't think they're a great team. I think that they still should have the talent in that room to make the playoffs at bare minimum, but if you show up or fail to show up like you did tonight, no matter who the fuck is your coach, you're not going to be having any type of success. And it's just, yet again, just deciding we're out on a coach. I can't believe 10 years through these guys, they just say, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. And then it's like, get us a new guy. You haven't had the success to fucking demand that. Like, who are you to demand that?
Let me ask you, would you be shocked at all if the Leafs go on some type of run without Auston Matthews and Anthony Stolarz? Like, that's what they do, right? They suck you back in. But I think your analysis is going through. I comprehend what you're saying. Again, I know it's difficult. People are not going to want to hear this. It's game 17. They could easily come out in game 18 and be like, we want to play hockey again. But I couldn't agree more. As I mentioned off the top. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I would agree with you every year prior to this. Like, there's not been anything that they've shown me here so far other than, like, the third period against Pittsburgh and, like, most of the 60 minutes against Utah that says that they have it. And if we were 6-7 games in, like, I'd be way more inclined to believe you and let you talk me off the ledge. But I mean, Nick, honestly, sorry. Like, I'm not there with them right now and tonight. Like, we just watched the Saturday game against Boston where they basically did this, Sunday against Carolina where they did this, and then that's usually where this team says, hey, we'll turn it around. You had a chance here tonight, and you just completely fucked off with it. I don't know how I can believe now, 17 games into this one, plus 10 years, or 9 years, whatever it is, that I can believe differently, because it's been too big of a sample size, whether just this season or with these guys dating back to the day they got in the league. I would normally agree with you. This year, I don't think I can.
I think, just to bring the positive approach or the aspect, because again, I fully comprehend where you're coming from. I look at the standings. Okay, so the Leafs are 8-1 through 17 games. The Florida Panthers, who have won back-to-back Stanley Cups, they're 8-7-1. Granted, I get it. Barkov's not playing, Kachuk's not playing, Kulikov, the list goes on and on. They've probably exceeded expectations. But what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of racetrack remaining. I think the great thing about pro sport is adversity and how you overcome adversity sometimes. And they're up against it right now. Don't get me wrong. I think the cool thing too is like it's just one game, right? And the last three have just been one game. But I completely understand. Like, it's been 10 years. How many different variations of these type of no-show efforts have we seen where you have to say enough is enough? But unfortunately, as you just brought up, I mean, how many head coaches are going to take the blame for the players on the ice, and it's the same nucleus? But the problem, unfortunately, is that you really can't depart or trade any of these guys. Like, they have full no-trade clauses. I think the bigger story for me, I wondered, behind the scenes, how much was this about great goaltending last year? Like, is this a 2-year issue or is it a 1-month issue where maybe the goaltending masked what this team truly was last year? How would you answer that?
Oh, well, I mean,
like, they're getting ECHL goaltending right now from Stoli, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, look, let me put this into context for people here too, quickly, just for those wondering like how bad this goaltending truly is right now. Anthony Stolarz rankings since calling out his team after the loss on October 18th does not include the games played on that night. 4.05 GAA, worst in the NHL. 874 save percentage, second worst in the NHL. I think that, yeah, they got great goaltending last year, but even the body of work surrounding this was just better than what you saw right now. So I get what you're saying, and for sure goaltending masked some of it, but there was at least enough focus, attention to detail, show up. Like, it's just, this is a team we complain about starting on time all the time. There would be games last year, the year before, whatever, where it'd be like, hey, maybe we just fucked off for the first period, and then you get to the second, and it was like, okay, we'll show up now. So you could at least give them that credit. This one took till the third period. Pittsburgh took till the third period. Saturday, Boston, Sunday, Carolina, even those ones, I know I'm going off some recency bias here, but like, even in those games, Nick, you didn't really see too much fight in them until maybe like a blip in the second where all of a sudden they scored a bunch of goals, or late in the third when they're down one. It's not been there for these guys, even outside of the goaltending. For those who are new here right now to the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel as well. Leafs Nation After Dark, available on all podcast platforms. You're looking for After Dark shows, post-game, it's right here. If you're looking for Leafs Morning Take with Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, who will be live tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure to come back here to the channel as well. But Nick, I mean, I think that's part of it here, where somewhat unfairly, Craig Berube is going to get this like his head on a platter for this, where, it's like you can't, there's just not enough you could do with the guys in the room. Right? You just mentioned it. No moves, locked up on term, big deals that you can't get rid of, whatever it may be for some of these guys. There's just immovable pieces. Craig Berube is a movable piece. Savard and Lalonde and Mike Van Ryn, they're movable pieces. Whether they deserve to be or not, they are movable pieces. And there comes a point where something has to happen to make guys in that room go, whoa, what the hell is going on? And I think that if that doesn't work, then it's over. You are fucked. Like, you get the assets you can, do what you can. But my thing is, Nick, and it's where you asked me, you said you think that's it. Like, they don't go into Thursday against LA with Berube, or what? Like, does he not get past this? In my opinion, you're at least asking. It's just like, what does it do one way or the other? Because this is a group that, unfortunately, and I said it in the text in our group chat, like we were talking throughout the entire game, this is a group that unfortunately does not get inspired by late comebacks or guys fighting and getting aggressive and stuff. And, this is the first team we've seen in a long time that shows up to a game and like maybe has some physical bite back when the game's not going their way. How many times in years past do you see them down 4-1 to Boston and like Nikita Zadorov ragdolls somebody and drags him around the ice and everybody's like, woo, don't look at me. I don't want to be involved in this one. There's at least guys involved. So, okay, kudos for that. But
yeah,
my problem is, outside of like Dakota Joshua and Sammy Blais and Bobby McMahon and Jake McCabe and OEL and I don't even know if I'm missing people here. I apologize to them if I've left you off this list. But the point is that it doesn't affect the guys that it needs to affect. It doesn't affect Auston Matthews and William Nylander and John Tavares in that same way where it's like raw inspiration. I almost feel bad actually throwing JT in there. I almost feel like that's an undeserved shot at him because I feel like he just shows up and does this thing every night no matter what. But point being, it's just like, who does that extend to? If I watch a Colorado game and I watch Gabe Landeskog go on the ice and beat the wheels off somebody because they're losing 4-1, the next thing you know, Nathan McKinnon is shoving his stick down some guy's throat, pulling it out his ass, and then going on a breakaway and scoring. Like there's bodies left everywhere. These guys get inspired by this shit. These guys do not. So you come out on Thursday, you beat the fucking wheels off the LA Kings. It doesn't matter because in my opinion, you probably come out on Saturday, you lay an egg, and you get fucked again. Or you come out on Thursday and you get your shit pumped. With Berube here, it doesn't matter again. So it's just like, that's where I'm at, where the results on the ice seem like it just doesn't matter anymore to these guys. It's the same thing, rolling over. I don't even know what Berube says to these guys to get anything out of them for Thursday's game, because what else is there left for this guy to possibly say? I'm not in the room. I don't know everything he said, Nick, but I could imagine he's gone through the laundry list of things he hates about them, and there's basically nothing else left. And yet, We're still here, and nothing's changed.
Realistically, you have to think about what he can do. I don't think Craig Berube has anywhere close to being fired or getting fired. Really haven't talked to anybody on that front, but I don't think it's a coaching thing.
Well, I don't either. Just to be clear, I don't like.
Yeah. It just you're trying to find some we need to blame somebody as a fan base. I get that. I wonder if the next bullet to use, if you want to call it that, for Craig Berube is doing the old Jordan Kyrou treatment. And the Blues last week, Jim Montgomery, one of the best coaches in the league, sat one of his best players. But the unfortunate aspect of all this, you can probably pick one or two guys who have been consistently playing well. Like, you can make the case for so many different guys to be health bombs, but maybe that's the next decision. Maybe you go to Nylander and say, hey, you're sitting tonight, or Morgan Reilly, you're sitting tonight. And they really haven't used that, because you start to wonder, what can the head coach do? He's changed the line combinations 83 times. He's called out the team. He's bitched at them on the bench during the game, told them to wake up. Nothing seems to have worked. But getting back to the initial point, off the top, we've seen so many examples of this in the past, to your point, where teams just sort of give up on the messaging from the coaching staff. And you start to feel that way when it's been not one, not two, but 3 outings in a row where there's just no response. That was your classic response type of game tonight in Boston after they dummied you Saturday. You got played out of the building against Carolina on Sunday, and that's the way you come out. That is some puzzling stuff where you start to wonder if the message is getting through anymore.
Well, and I mean, Nick, we saw it at the end of the game where in the third period, it's okay, everybody's getting going. There's scrums everywhere. Guys are fighting, whatever. And you know what? There's part of the caveman brain in me that is yep, I'm with this. I appreciate the pushback and I appreciate that effort. The other side of me also watches Auston Matthews get hit from behind by Nikita Zadorov. I know he's a big, scary dude, but Saturday night, he just put Scott Laughton back onto the IR, who missed the 15 games beginning the season before that one, or 14 games, whatever it was before that one, then just sends him back out of the game. Bobby McMahon fights, good enough, whatever. But then you go into this one and your captain gets crunched over by the boards. And I'm not going to sit here and yell and scream about Nikita Zadorov deserving a penalty, supplemental discipline, whatever from that play. But you need a response from the team, and nobody did. That guy makes $13.25 million. He wears the C. He's supposed to be a 45, 50, 60 goal scorer, and you just watched him get fucking crunched 3 feet away from the boards, and everyone's like, whoa, you see Matthews got hit. All right, keep going. It's just this is just who you've been the entire time. Messaging from within the room, messaging from the coach, GM, fucking Keith Pelly. I don't know who it is, Nick, but there seems to be no amount of messaging that is going to get through to these guys. And I just don't even know. You're saying sit guys, but I mean, I look at Jordan Kyrou, and the reason that they're sitting him is because for accumulation of reasons, but let's narrow this. Let's throw this broad here and just say buy into what Montgomery's trying to build there, lacking from him, production lacking. And, when those things are missing, then you say, okay, yeah, you're going to go to the box. We're going to send you a message. Let's fucking get it going here. Who is it that you sit here in Toronto, in your opinion? Because I look at Nylander, Nyes, even Matthews, JT. Matthews obviously injured out of this one, but those guys, and I look and I'm like, you are not only leading this team in points, but you all have some of the highest point totals around the NHL. They're not leading the NHL for sure, but they are up there. And if it's not for those guys, the one thing we can do, we're putting into the press box. Because if you look at a positive, if we want to find one, they can score goals. They're one of the league leaders in scoring goals right now. So, who's the guy that you look at? Is it Morgan Reilly? Is that the obvious answer here?
I think that's a fair question. There just doesn't seem to be a response from anybody for that matter, but it always seems like the galvanizing guy is Morgan Reilly. But across the board, they just need to get together and be like, we're doing this. I mean, it's quite clear they've got it in that room to be able to withstand sort of a losing streak like this and push back and do their thing. But even to your point about the whole Zadorov thing, Like, that's part of the game. He's a big boy. He's a tough customer, and there's been response in the past. But even like the timeliness of Max Domi, like that's the decision you make. That's when you're going to do something about it. And, I respect that aspect of it. But you look at that point in the game, the Maple Leafs had a lot of momentum, playing pretty decent hockey in the third period, wave after wave, shift after shift. And you take that penalty. Like, we've seen that too many times in the tenure of Max Domi as a Maple Leaf, where he takes an ill-advised penalty, we'll call it. The other team comes back and scores on the power play, and that's the night. Like, obviously, the Leafs didn't deserve to win that game, but you can't afford to make bigger mistakes like that in the grand scheme of a hockey game and expect to win. Like, I thought they shot themselves in the foot. Domi, speaking on Domi there, where it's like, you got to pick your timing, and that wasn't a good time to go after Zadorov. You get the power play, then they score the goal, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't mind it as much, but I do completely understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not really going to disagree. I just think, like, somebody had to do something, I guess. Fuck, man. It's just...
It's funny too, Zach. It's funny too, Zach, because, like, this is an older team, and, like, it scares me a lot that the guys, and we'll see what they say tonight after the game, they talk about immaturity. Like, you're one of the oldest teams, most veteran teams in the NHL, and John Tavares is talking about immaturity in the room. Like, what is really up here? And it leads me down a rabbit hole, too, where it's like maybe there was a bigger ripple effect in that room than we thought on the outside looking in from, the timing of the Stolarz situation. Like, you talked about the numbers, man. 4-4-0, 4.05, 8.74 since October 18th, the night he called out the team. You wonder if there's got to be some type of correlation. And I remember at the time, me and Rosie came out and said, good on Stoley, but you got to back it up, dude. He cannot make a save.
That's a problem.
And then, like, the final undoing was obviously the last goal. Then he doesn't come back. And you even wonder if he's even hurt. Like, that's just my speculation, where it's like, hey, the old Tristan Jarry, remember when the Leafs last week lit up Jarry in that game? Next thing you know, he lands on injured reserve and maybe you need a couple games off. Like, I wonder if we're going that direction with Stolarz. Like, he needs a reset, man. Like, that guy was nails last year. He was great for the Florida Panthers 2 years ago, has zero confidence right now. And you wonder, without knowing anything, how much that played into his head. Maybe after the game, he's driving home and he's like, shit, I probably shouldn't have said that. I think there was a bigger impact on that night than we thought about, and now the numbers are lining up with it too.
So there's some stuff coming out here post-game, by the way, trickling through. That's what I'm just trying to make sure and try to keep up with. Berube on the Auston Matthews lower body, and on if it's serious. I don't know exactly. I really can't give you guys a timeline or how serious it is right now, and I'm not sure when he heard it, to be honest with you. I mean, I think we all know Craig, unfortunately. That's one that we do know when he heard it. Berube on
going to Germany again?
Well, fuck, man. Like, that just seems to be the next thing. Like, tomorrow morning we're going to wake up and the news coming out of Toronto isn't Berube's gone. It's Auston Matthews is in a different fucking continent. Craig Berube, this is from Jonas Siegel. Craig Berube on Anthony Stolarz injury. I don't believe that's serious. I think he'll be fine.
It's the old wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Little reset needs to happen there, and let's save him some face, because list your goalie of who you remember that let a goal like that in recent memory in Toronto, where you're like, man, where is the guy from last year? What was that?
Let me say this on the Stolarz not returning thing. And it's happening in the chat a lot right now. It's a conversation online a lot right now. If any of these things are true, which I do kind of believe some of them to be, but I'll get there. The one word that continues to circulate is quit. They quit on the coach. Did they quit on the goalie? Did they quit after Marner left? That's a whole lot of fucking quitting. And if you're quitting from things like that, the makeup of this group is just flawed to begin with. I mean, that's my honest opinion. You know, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just wired like a fucking psychopath, but like, I remember, and you know, whether it's like somebody gets hurt or can't play, or you get down in a game, or you get called out, it's like my initial reaction has always been, and I always rely on this because I go back to how I would approach things, which maybe it's just not fair to apply this to everybody else, but I think you're on board with me, is like, that gets you going. Oh shit, our starting goalie went down, or our starting goalie didn't play that well here tonight. Let's fucking get one back for him. Like, let's have one here. He had a tough one tonight. Let's have one for him. Let's go. Matthews gets hurt. Let's fucking back him up here. It's like that doesn't seem to happen. And we keep talking about quitting. Oh, the coach got mad at us. We're quitting. Mitch Marner left. We're quitting. What the fuck is wrong with you if your initial response in every one of these situations is quit? And, to further that, let's think back to 2 years ago. Boston, Game 4. You have a chance to tie the series at home. They lay one of the worst games of all time. It's a historic Rosie rant here on the Leafs Nation After Dark that he comes on here and he lets loose. That's a quit game. I mean, call it what it is. That's a quit game. Game 5, round 2 last year against Florida. That's a quit game. You got down early. You said, fuck it, we're out of here. Game 7, round 2 last year. Got down, said, fuck it, we're out of here. Another quit game. There's numerous instances throughout the last 9 years of these guys just saying, wave the white flag, we're quitting tonight. And ultimately, I think that that's just been a consistent pattern here that's making me want to fucking puke, Nick.
Yeah, I concur. Again, you got to put it into perspective. They are 14th in the Eastern Conference, 8-1 to start this season through 17 games. That tells me there's a lot of games left, but you would hope a lot of soul searching. I would say the way this team started the game concerned me too. They look really, really fragile the first couple minutes, couple shifts. We all saw what transpired in the first period, the lack of discipline. You take 3 minors in the first 8 minutes of the game. Like everything you would think the coaching staff is trying to hammer into their brains before the game. Even apparently they had a team meeting before the game. And that's the way they come out. Like that's more of the puzzling part. And at the beginning, I felt like they were playing not to make a mistake instead of playing their game. So for all the talk about DNA change and identity conversation, they got squat. They got nothing. Like it's back to the basics now, Zach.
Last question before you leave. I know you got a show to do tomorrow, so I don't want to make you do it all here tonight. But last question. His name had not come up in the chat yet until like the last 2 minutes here. Are things different if Mitch Marner is still here?
No. We've seen this so many times from this team. To your point, you just listed off so many variations of the same old story in the last 10 years, and 9 of which included the guy in Vegas. So people are going to draw correlations. It's not there. By the way, Vegas is playing like shit right now. Their power play is a disaster. They got Mitch Marner, one of the best playmakers on the planet, on their team. I just don't buy that Marner's on this team and anything is different at all. Like there's absolutely no buy-in defensively. They're not getting the saves. They're not playing as a team. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter who's on this roster. And quite frankly, I was thinking about it. Scotty Bowman in his prime could be coaching this team right now and they'd still be shit.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm on the same page as you. I don't even know. It's the collection of these guys. It's the core of these guys from the very beginning. These guys have been rotten. I don't know. This is kind of like a breaking point for game for me, where like I always felt like there is hope and things will turn around. And I know you just
you called it a must-win game.
Yeah, it was. That was a must-win game that you said.
What's
Fuck
Thursday,
it, we're not
Zach?
showing up.
What's Thursday?
Thursday is game 1 of the rebuilds. Thursday.
Will they do a video tribute for Joel Edmondson? If you recall, he missed last year's game in Toronto. So will they roll out the red carpet for Joel Edmondson, who saw this shit show and is like, I want no part of it?
Knowing this, how this organization has handled things here so far, and how this fan base has fucking handled things here so far, I wouldn't put it past, because the amount of people who are just happy with first round exit after first round exit and hanging the participation trophy year in, year out. I mean, yeah, why not? Why not give him a round of applause? Let's give him a fucking stick on his way out, a signed picture, all of it. Let's do it all. Unbelievable.
No, fair enough, Zach. I understand. You're doing a great job, buddy. I like the fact I respect the fact you got to come on here right after the game, because I think lucky for me and Rosie, we got like 12 hours to like really put together our thoughts and not blow a gasket. That's why you see Zach lose his mind on this show quite a bit, because it's very reactionary, which we love, and we love the candidness of that. But all I want to say on the way out, I know things are grim, they're tough, but there's been so many times in Leafs Nation they just suck us back in. So I'm looking forward to Thursday night. I want to see what this team has in them. Doesn't sound like Matthews is anywhere close to coming and being the savior, even with him in the line at there or nothing, but maybe the attention to detail is a bit finer. And it would not shock me at all. We've seen so many examples from this team in the last decade where big boys are out. They step the hell up, but it's got to start in the crease. You got to figure that out. Team defense. There's a lot of questions, but I still have a bit of faith in this team to figure things out here at some point.
Well, a bit is more than what I have, because I have none.
You're done. Finished.
I you know that countdown that you unveiled? At least you can still use like the basis of the graphic, but this time it's going to have Gavin McKenna on it, because starting tomorrow morning, I'm going to request personally that producer Vic unveils the new Mick countdown.
You're the best, man, because I even recall last year, I think in that Florida series alone, you were out 6 times. So we're gonna bring Zach back in. Don't worry, folks. Couple more wins, he'll be back on this train, baby. Let's go, wagon. All
right, Nick. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate
Enjoy.
it. See you tomorrow morning,
See
11 a.m. There you go. Nick Alberga hopping on, help us break this down. I still have more thoughts on tonight. I see people in the chat. I'm going to get to more of those. I'm going to get to the super chats that have taken place. We got to recap our best bet, grade of the game. I kind of just want to glance over who played what and how everyone performed here tonight for the Maple Leafs. As well, if you're in the chat and you want to call into the show, this is going to be a frustrating one for Leafs fans, and I get it. So there is a link pinned in the chat. It is a Zoom link. You click the link. You can call into the show. You don't have to come on camera. I'll put your name up, but you can just call in. Give your thoughts. If you disagree with what I'm saying, if you want to come on here and you want to just fucking yell and scream about this team, the door is open. There is a Zoom link pinned at the top of the chat. You click that. You can call into the show. Get shit off your chest. I want to hear all of it. I want to hear what you think, how you feel. I don't care if it's rational or not. Call into the show. Let's hear it from Leafs fans here tonight. As well, quick reminder, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. I mean, we'll be breaking this thing down as the entire season goes. I don't care. Fans may check out. The team may check out. It doesn't matter. Nick, Rosie, and myself will be here all 82 games, all year, to react, try to comprehend, and then also look forward to the future of what this group could be. We will be here. So subscribe to the channel. Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. You want to call in. Zoom link is open for everybody. So you get your calls in. I want to hear what people think, because I feel like it can't be just me. As well, there's a poll in the chat right now. Just before I go to the super chats. Poll in the chat. What do the Leafs do now? There's 400 votes on this one, so big enough body, or just shy of 400 votes. Big enough sample size here. Nothing, they're fine, is 15%. Fire Berube and staff, 11%. Massive culture-changing trade, 43%. Drastically in the lead, and then following that one up with second place at 31% is blow it up. It's a tough one for Leafs fans tonight. We do have a caller on the line waiting. Just before we get to the caller, we do have a bunch of super chats, and I want to run through these because I don't want to make people wait. As well, for those who are new here to the post-game live shows, if you like the stream, for every set of 50 likes here on the show, we will do the smelling salts. I got a brand new bottle. It almost ruined my day the other day when I did them. But for every set of 50 likes, we do the smelling salts, and we're almost at 100 right now. So get those up. We've got 400 people watching the show. We're almost at 100 likes. The more smelling salts. I want people all the way in on this one. Liking the stream. Let's get this thing going. But let's get to some of our super chats. Super chats. Proceeds from our super chat do go to Sick Kids Charity, Canada's number one children's hospital, number 3 in North America. Proceeds from our super chats do go to Sick Kids. We did raise almost $5,000 going to Sick Kids throughout the course of the last year. So let's keep that up. Amazing work by those of you in the chat. Starting with Nate Dogg 3654. Nate Dogg says, I don't care what you guys say unless it's really offside, but I will read all of them. So these are from the chat, not necessarily me. I will respond and read them all. Captain Comeover doesn't deserve anyone standing up for him. He wouldn't do it for them. Berube is a shit coach. Zero intelligence and no culture. Let's break this down in reverse. So the Berube intelligence, he might not be a very good coach. He won a Stanley Cup. Maybe that was just pure luck. Entirely possible. Seemed to be trusted by people around NHL circles. Has been in the NHL for a while. Seems like it may not be working here. Culture-wise, I don't know. I have a little bit of a hard time with that one, saying no culture. Disagree there to say no culture. I think that that's like a little bit aggressive to suggest that. I think it's very clear what he demands out of these guys, what he wants them to be. I just think that he might be asking them to do something they're not capable of. I think he might just be here yelling and screaming and telling them to do something, and there's no response because they don't have that DNA. His and theirs do not match, and it just does not work that way. I would argue that he probably has a fine culture, but the guys in the room just don't fit it. Going back to the beginning point, though, from Nate Dogg 3654 here about Matthews doesn't deserve anyone standing up for him. He wouldn't do it for them. I will say it's not that he doesn't deserve. I disagree with that. Every teammate deserves to have their teammates stick up for them. But where it is understandable is what Nate says here, where he says he wouldn't do it for them. I think that's a huge issue. And I think Nate is 100% spot on with that. You know, again, I refer back to this. The Amazon Prime documentary that came out last year, I can't remember if it was Gabe Landeskog or Jacob Trouba who said something along the lines of, you know, at some point you've got to stand up and you've got to do it. And he was talking about Quinn Hughes, saying, I don't know if Quinn Hughes is going to be able to be the guy who's going to do it because you can't ask things of other guys that you wouldn't do yourself. And he was referring to the physical play, sticking up for other guys and everything. And that, since that day, since I heard that, has resonated with me because I always look at Auston Matthews and think he won't do it. He would not do it. He won't stick up for the other guys. He won't go in there and stick up for himself. He's not going to go in there and fight. He's not going to go in there and grab guys. Like you look at Sidney Crosby, he'll do it. Ovechkin does it. I think the only reason Connor McDavid doesn't do it is because there is no chance they can risk having him not in the lineup. Like, you just physically cannot do it. But McDavid still gets pissed off. He gets in scrums. He goes at guys. Like, he gets involved in those things and at least gets mad. Auston Matthews just seems to have this, like, he's an unbelievable player. Nobody's doubting that. I have no issue with him from that standpoint and for him being one of the best players on this team. I'm not going to question any of that. But from the leadership standpoint and him being the captain, I do think that's a little bit tougher because it's so much harder for him to ask other guys to do things knowing for fact he would not do them himself. And I think it speaks to the culture of the team, and I also think it speaks to the identity and the DNA of the guys that are in there. You look around at your best players. You look at the difference. Even Draisaitl and McDavid, they're not fighters, but they'll get pissed off and they'll go at guys. They will stick up for other guys. They will grab a hold of other guys. They get in the scrum. They're not the first guy to go to the bench when it happens. Colorado, Nathan McKinnon. We saw him 2 weeks ago fighting fucking Charlie McAvoy. It's like game 9 and he's losing his shit. I always think about the one where he lost his mind and was throwing his helmet at Connor Garland. Like, psychopath. The rest of the team looks around and goes, oh shit, let's buy in. That's our best player that's doing that. He's the guy stepping up. He's the guy buying in here. We got to follow suit. You know, Gabe Landeskog, the leader, unbelievable player for Colorado. Obviously, a little bit different situation for him here now, but unbelievable player. He's a guy who steps up. You buy in. You follow that. Dallas, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin. You follow those guys into battle. Boston, always. Bergeron, Chara, Marchand. You follow them in. Florida, Bennett, Tkachuk, Reinhart will do it. You know, Marchand's there now. He'll do it. Like, all of these guys around across different teams, they will do it. And then you watch this Leafs team, and it's just like, I pray to God Max Domi does something, because outside of those guys, your depth guys, no one is fucking wagging a finger at shit. Everyone wants to stand around and watch it happen and hope someone else does their dirty work. And at that point, everybody else probably starts to look around or look at themselves and say, what the fuck are we doing? So I get it, Nate, and I'm with you. It doesn't make it any less frustrating that nobody in this situation does stand up in there. Because, you know, again, I think that just screams to the lack of culture that the guys have in the room. And I don't think that's a Craig Berube thing. I think that's the identity of the guys they have in there. I don't know what this one is, who this one is from. This is from Robert Bett. Super chat from Robert Bett. I will get to our calls here on the line as well. But Robert Bett, super chat, again, proceeds going to Sick Kids Charity. Like, subscribe, turn on all notifications, all that good stuff. Robert Bett says, do you think that Derek Lalonde and Berube's systems are clashing? Robert, honestly, no. First of all, I think you might have suffered a significant loss with losing Lane Lambert. I think he might have had a really strong impact on these guys. I think you may have downgraded. I don't know for sure, but it seems like you may have downgraded here. But to suggest that they're clashing, I just feel like that's not the case. You know, one of the things that Lane Lambert preached when he left and said that Craig Berube does such a good job of is that Berube is a guy who he allows the assistant coaches to do their jobs. And rather than Berube being a guy who's like the system strategy guys, he brings in other people around him to do that stuff. And then he motivates and he gets guys on the right systems and trying to play the right way. And that's his focus. Now, I know people are going to say, are you fucking dumb? Are you watching this? He's not doing it very well. Fair enough. I'm just speaking to what Lane Lambert said when he departed Toronto, talking about what Berube does well. And when we're looking at a defense, that seems like it's significantly worse. And to Nick's point earlier in the show, when he's bringing up where they, you know, was this just amazing goaltending last year? I think that helped, but I do think they were drastically better on the defensive side of the puck. I think that from that standpoint, they were way tighter, way tougher to play against in their own zone. Like, not to say they were the best defensive team in the world, but watch what they're giving up now. It's 10x what they were giving up last year. It's way worse. It's way more opportune for the other team. It's way easier to get into the zone. It's way easier to find open ice and get good shots and get good chances and get in tight. It's so much easier for the opposition than it was last year. So yeah, goaltending's worse, and that doesn't help, but even on the other side, where it's the defense that you're looking at and the systems defensively, it's so much worse. You can also look at the 6 guys playing defense and notice a big drop-off in those guys as well. Like, this defensively has gone off a fucking cliff. And it's really frustrating as well, because you're watching a team that's scoring way more than they were earlier in the season last year. If you remember back to last year, we were banging our heads against the wall being like, they can't score. And the amount of people who came to the postgame and were like, Berube wants to play a defensive style of game and this team can't score. And now the chat that we're coming to here every day is like, Berube his defensive system sucks. Like, the swing on this thing has been outrageous. And that's why, again, I just continue to look at the guys in the room. Whether it's the wrong guys who have been put in there, fair enough. If it's just the wrong guys that you've built around, also an entire possibility. You know, again, it's just like looking at the culture of this team. I just look at, you can pinpoint situations that things went wrong. Breaking to the Marner contract, huge mistake. Started to establish the culture. Trading Nazem Kadri and bringing back Alex Kerfoot and Tyson Barrie, huge issue right there. That was something that we have spent the entire time since trading Nazem Kadri chasing a guy who does what Nazem Kadri does. Look at the Jared McCann situation. Acquire Jared McCann for fucking nothing. Whether he puts up 40 goals every single fucking year after he gets to Toronto or in Seattle or not, you bring in you bring in Jared McCann, and then you leave him to Seattle in the expansion draft to protect Justin Hall and Alex Kerfoot. Like, those were the players that you protected. Jared McCann, even if he doesn't score 40 every year, which he went on to score 40 immediately that season, Jared McCann is the type of guy who is feisty and is a fucking battler and brings that type of energy that we are dying for in this room with this team. And he was let go so that you could protect Alex Kerfoot and Justin Hall. Add it to the list of shit. Mason Marchment for Dennis Malgin. Add it to the fucking list. Like, you just go down every single thing. Mike Babcock, yeah, wrong guy. But then you brought in Sheldon Keefe, who is a rookie coach and seemed to be kind of more a player's coach than anything. Add it to the fucking list. The culture of these guys from day one has been fostered to be this soft, child gloves bullshit situation from day one. You couldn't say anything about them. You couldn't do anything to them. You couldn't write anything about them. Nothing. You weren't allowed to criticize them. You weren't allowed to hold them accountable. Nothing. You just built these prima donnas that have just kind of built it all the way through the rest of the lineup, where it's like, we don't give a fuck. We will do whatever the fuck we want. We're going to get our money. And then everything else from that point has gone to shit. Pure fucking diarrhea from that day that you fucking started to give into the contracts and said we can and we will, to the day you traded Nazem Kadri, to the days that you left Jared McCann unprotected for Alex Kerfoot and Justin Hall, who can't even get in an NHL lineup right now, and then you just continued that on. Gino Malgin, Mason Marchment, move down the list. Guy after guy after guy. Zach Hyman, can't pay him. Goodbye. Off to Edmonton. Connor Brown, off to Edmonton, Washington, New Jersey, wherever the fuck. These guys, just pieces that you look at the entire time and you think, wow, we'd love a guy like that. Gone. 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 Guy after guy after guy. And so much of it started with the day you said we can and we will. And this team has been fucked since that day. And we are looking at them here 17 games in to the 2025-2026 season, and likely looking at what is the end of this fucking window and this group. So we can blame Berube and we can blame Tree Living and we can blame that all. And I understand the frustration, and these guys did not help. But reality is, this has been brewing since the day you got these guys. Since the day Mitch Marner's dad threatened to go to Switzerland. Since the day William Nylander held out and stayed in Sweden. It has been a problem from day fucking one, and nobody put their foot down. They got whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and it's continuing to this day, and it is not working. And it might be over. I was in first year university, the first year that I watched Auston Matthews play as a Maple Leaf, and thought, holy fuck, this team is going to be unbelievable. I am 27, and it feels like it was simultaneously yesterday and 75 fucking years ago that I remember that first game against the Ottawa Senators happened. So fucking frustrating. So fucking frustrating. Watching mistakes that it feels like fucking Ernesto from Woodbridge knew not to do. And we're still fucking paying the consequences. Tried to change things when it was too late. That's the motto of this team. It's like what they did in the third period tonight. Oh, we're down big. Oh, things are really a problem. Time to change now. Mitch has a no move. 2 years left on his deal. Time to change. Too little, too late. We have callers on the line. I thought I was going to be quick on the answers. I went a little long on them, so I apologize to the callers that are waiting. We did hit 50 likes here on the post-game stream, so just before I bring in the callers, just quickly, I promised to them this one won't take long, so I'll do this quick. We have 50 likes on the stream, working our way up to 100. I want to hit 200 by the end of the show here tonight. We still got more shit to get to. I don't know. There's a chance here this one goes a little bit longer tonight. This kind of seems like one of those State of the Union like therapy sessions for Leafs fans tonight. And for that, I'm willing to kind of let this thing ride and see what everyone in the chat has to say and how everyone feels about this. So keep the super chats coming. I'll keep answering them. Keep liking the show and calling in. We got a couple people waiting here. So quickly, smelling salts. All right. There you go. Let's welcome to the show a man who's been calling in since basically I started doing the post-game coverage. Shortly after, I was a young, wide-eyed boy watching Auston Matthews score 4 goals and thinking this team is special. Let's welcome to the show our good friend, Alex A. Alex, how are you doing tonight, brother? I can't imagine well.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm not going to lie. I'm pissed. Just as pissed as you are. And I don't know. It's just really frustrating. I mean, I had to witness it in person start on Saturday at the Bruins game. I was there in person, and what a terrible game to go to. What a terrible game to go to. And for it to just continue on these last 2 games after that is just even more frustrating. And, you know, the lack of effort, the lack of culture, like you've been just talking about, been in your stream the whole time here. And it's just, I couldn't agree anymore with what you've been saying. Like, it's so frustrating what they could be, but they just won't be. That's the most frustrating thing.
So, Alex, where are you at on these guys? Because Nick seemed to have a little bit more optimism. Myself, I feel like after this one, this is like a, this is kind of the breaking point for me. Like, I don't know how you go through tomorrow with these guys, with this same group still intact. And by same group, I mean Berube, assistants, etc., still here with this team. I just don't know how you wake up with these guys. Like, by tomorrow morning, I don't know that you make a trade, but even by tomorrow afternoon, If it's fucking scratching somebody, waving somebody, announcing you've put somebody in the press box, I don't know. But I just don't even know how you get through the day tomorrow and say that, oh no, we're going to go back at these guys on Thursday. Like this has to be a alarm bells ringing. I'm fucking panicking. Let's change some shit. Not do some stupid shit, but something has to change going into or waking up tomorrow morning. I don't have hope anymore. I think you've got to flip this thing on its head. And by that, I don't mean like get rid of everybody on the roster, trade Matthews and Nylander tomorrow, but you got to do something drastic. You got to fucking wake people up. You got to change the DNA, the guys in the room, the coach. I don't fucking know, but you got to change it before this goes into Thursday's game. Are you with me? Because I just don't have faith right now. I know Nick seemed to have a bit more, but I just got none.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. Like, the problem is, obviously, that we all know is all the no movement clauses, and like, it takes time with a lot of these things. And I think, like, realistically, they do all these meetings. You mentioned earlier or I think Nick mentioned that they had like some player meeting thing. I don't know if it was just with the coach.
It was with the
or
coach
with the
as
GM.
well. Coaches were there as well this morning. Yep.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the hell they said. Maybe they said something great, but clearly they didn't receive the message well at all because they didn't put any effort in the ice. And it's frustrating. Like, I think what realistically, like, people want to sit there and see on Twitter all the time, oh, it's Berube, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. We've seen it for 9 years and we're still blaming the coach. Like, really?
Yeah.
We've been through this is our third coach. So why are we blaming the coach why don't we start saying, why isn't it the players? I mean, you've been saying, I've said, but I'm just saying the other people, like, they're like, oh, we're too old and slow. Like, there's so many things. Like, I think realistically, you're looking at it and like we look like we're playing Timbits hockey in our own zone. Like, we can't break the puck out. Like, listen, like, getting guys like last year that could defend in their own zone for sure. We have the same defense core, other than Tanev being hurt. But like, you're seeing it now. I don't know if it's the system they're running, but they can't get the puck out of their own zone. And I understand we don't have the strongest guys for that because like we don't have great puck movers. But like, we're not moving the puck properly, and it's just like it's terrible to watch. Like, it's terrible to watch. Like, are we trying to tank for McKenna? Like, is that what we're really trying to do here? Like, I'm just mind blown that like I've been so positive, and I think you've seen me a few times here with you, just being like, oh, like I think they're, I think it's just gonna take some time, and like, is that possible? Sure, but I really am not like looking forward to anything at all. Like, unless they do something significant. Like, I think the GM needs to sit there after today with the team and be like, listen, if this is the sort of effort you guys are gonna be giving, like, I'm gonna start like some of you will need to be moved, or like we need to look at shop at some of you guys. And I'm not even kidding. Like, even the guys with no movement clauses, like go talk to them and be like, listen, just because you have no movement clause, like tell me what options that you would be possibly interested in because you are not a fit for this team and the kind of culture we want in this locker room. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I don't know how soft we've been for years, given these no movement clauses, and guys feel safe and going on your golf trips and drinking your margaritas. Like, figure it the hell out, man. Like, you guys are paid to win hockey games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, man. It's so frustrating.
I mean, I'm with you. And I think that, this is something you work on over the next couple of weeks and try to figure out. But I also think that it, first of all, requires an internal conversation, which, because of the fact that you've got Matthews, you've got Nylander, I think no matter what the ultimate conclusion is going to be, and Tavares and Nyes, by the way, as well, throw them into that group. But I think at the end of the day, the ultimate conversation here is going to always come back to, if you have those guys, you cannot just give up. And I get that. I think you have to come up with creative ways to approach it. I think you have to kind of make an organizational decision as you look to move forward. But I'm with you. I don't know how you look at this group right now and say that they're a team that wins the Stanley Cup, let alone makes the fucking playoffs here right now. Like, this is a group that I think has enough talent to make the playoffs. I think should make the playoffs. I still stand by that. But given the fact that you're seeing this lack of attention to detail, focus, give a fuck on a nightly basis, Yeah, I mean, you can't comfortably or confidently look at these guys and say, yeah, they can do it. They can figure it out. They can go on a run. They can make the playoffs. No, I just don't know how that could be a logical conclusion. At which point, I'm with you, Alex. I think you start to go in there and you start to have the conversation where it's like, who has to go and how do we fix this? Because I think you start to look at the defensive side of things and then go from there. Chris Tanev's going to come back at some point, but Chris Tanev doesn't fix this. He's also older. He's taking a step back at a point. May potentially even here this year. I think he did look a little bit worse than what he was last year. Not bad, but just a step back. He was unbelievable last year. Same with McCabe. He's also taken a step back. I think you look at Benoit and Myers and you say these guys can't be here anymore. That's it. I don't know if they're in the Marlies. I don't know if they're on a fucking different team. I don't know if they're in the press box and you're your seventh defenseman, but they can't be playing. I don't even know how many minutes they played, honestly. I haven't even looked at the box score. I don't know. This was so infuriating tonight to see that. Like, you can't put them back out there and expect something different to happen. So those two guys, done. Brandon Carlo, I don't know if it's that he needs a new partner, if we just overrated what he was, if he only worked in Boston, I don't know. But Brandon Carlo doesn't work here. Maybe you got to find a way to get him gone, and if not him, you got to find the guy that plays with him to be gone. Because guess what? That guy's been here since 2012. I love him as a person. I love what he's done for the city, for the team, for the community here, for every fucking organization around this city, even outside of the Maple Leafs. Like, you hear about everything Morgan Reilly has done for the city of Toronto. Unbelievable. Like, I'm never going to fault the guy for that. But at some point, maybe he's a part of the culture that we've spoken about that's not good enough, that is just being used to losing and being around this for too long. Maybe it's time to give up on that guy and say, we got to change something. And he's a guy that's got to go, Alex. But it just screams to me, tomorrow you start to wake up and you get the fuck on the phone. I don't know if it's retooling, if it's taking a year off this year and trying to get assets back, or if it's saying, fuck it, we've got the right pieces here because they see something, but you need to wake up tomorrow and status quo is not acceptable. Shit's got to change, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, now, like, looking at that whole trade, obviously, for Brandon Carlo, talking about Brandon Carlo, realistically, now we're talking in hindsight. Like, I think at the end of after the last playoff run, obviously letting Mitch go and all that, I realistically think, like, when they were talking about shopping Carlo, apparently there was talk about the Leafs possibly being open to trading him for getting JJ Peterka. Yeah, exactly. In my opinion, like, sure, JJ Peterka would have been cool. It would have been a great addition. I'm not going to take that away. Do I think that solves the issue? No. But what they could have even looked at is, okay, we have McCabe, or not McCabe. We have Carlo. We could trade Carlo and maybe package him with Benoit coming off a good playoff and try and, like, even throw another asset to maybe get, like, an actual puck-moving defenseman, a right-shot puck-moving defenseman. Right? I don't know. I'm just speaking in hindsight. Something like that. Like, they got to change something because they just built a back end of, like, slower, bigger, that don't even play that physical. Other than maybe McCabe when, and I guess OEL too. But, like, still not that, like, go look at, like, watch what Zadorov was doing. He's not a perfect defenseman at all. But, dude, he was noticeable tonight. He's pissing the Leafs off, kind of. Pissing Max Domi off, I guess, and Bobby McMahon. But the other guys,
well, he injured your captain and took him out of the game. He takes Scott Lawton out of the game the other day. He is just causing damage in his path here right now. And it's like, you almost look at Brandon Carlo and you're like, okay, if you are not going to be able to pass the puck, if you're not going to be able to stick handle, if you're not going to be able to fucking find who you're supposed to pick up in the defensive zone, at least you could go out there and mash bodies and fucking make guys feel it and make guys' lives in front of the net a living hell, and every scrum you could pop guys' heads off like what Zadorov was doing to Domi and everybody else every time he goes in there. And instead, he's not. He's a gentle giant on the ice who blocks shots. He's got nothing else going for him right now. And ultimately, that trade with Fraser Minton going the other way, who I do agree with Nick, by the way, to people's points, like who are going to rip on him for it and are going to disagree with me here. I get it. Like, or try to build this up to something else. I get it, like where people are going to say, hey, Fraser Minton's a guy you had to keep. You could never trade that guy. I do agree with Nick, where I think Fraser Minton is like a third line center, a ceiling on a really good team, on a third line center. He's a third line center on a really good team. Ceiling would be a second line center. I agree with him. Like, I don't think you're looking at the second coming of fucking Steve Yzerman, Joe Sakic. You're not looking at that. You're just not. I don't think so. But point being, that one is going to fucking sting, because Brandon Carlo, if he was at least part of what he was billed out to be, I don't think we're looking at that one and saying it was as bad. I just don't. But right now, what he did in the playoffs last season, what he's doing to start this season, it will be one of the worst trades this team has ever made. Like, you're going to go in the fucking Hall of Fame of bad trades, and you're going to find Fraser Minton and a first round pick, by the way, for Brandon Carlo, and it's going to be beside Nazem Kadri for Tyson Barrie and Alex Kerfoot. Like, you might as well put those two as the fucking Mount Rushmore of bad trades made by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And both of them have now happened when the Matthews-Nylander era. So, good fucking shit. Like, we're going to look at these someday and just go, how the fuck did we get here? And then we're going to be like, oh, that's how. It's just a huge piece of it. I'm not quite as infuriated as people are with the Scott Laughton, as my poppy goes fucking in my shoulder. I'm not as frustrated as people are with the Scott Laughton trade. Doesn't look the best, but it's not the end of the world for me. Again, I saw Scott Laughton was doing in Philly. I think if he was able to bring that over to Toronto, which I saw the preseason this guy had, I'm like, fuck, this guy's going to be able to have a great season. I had a lot of faith in Scott Laughton this year. Hasn't been able to play because he's just been injured, which fucking really hurts. But yeah, that one's not looking good right now either. So hand up on that one. I don't think it's nearly as bad, but not good. It's not good.
No, yeah, not at all. Ugh.
We're struggling right now, Alex. We're struggling. Any other thoughts here? I've got one other person waiting on the line, so I want to get to them and let them get some takes off here. But any other thoughts from you?
Basically, yeah, what I said, like, about the whole management and everything, we both agreed on that. What I think realistically for Thursday's game, like, and I've been thinking this the last couple of games, like, dude, like, at this point, like you said, Benoit Myers, you can't have that pairing, or even both those guys right now on the ice. Like, dude, call up one of the Marlies guys. Call up Thrun, or call up the other right shot defenseman. I forget how you pronounce his name. It starts with a V. I forget how you pronounce it. But he, from what I know, he's more of a puck mover. Like, just try something different, because, like, clearly it's just not working. You can't break out of your own zone, like I mentioned. Just do something different. You never know. Like, sometimes some guys, especially guys like that, can come in with some extra motivation, right? Mm-hmm. Just to try and get some sort of life. I'm not saying they're going to be the saving grace of the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, but what do you got to lose right now? You're playing terrible in your own end anyways. So, like, yeah. What do you have to lose?
Well, again,
lose 9-1 like Edmonton? And
Alex,
like, I don't know.
Exactly. And this one, like, you probably should have lost that, but the Bruins, who, again, credit to them for this game here tonight. The Bruins ultimately are going to be a fringe playoff team, if a playoff team at best. And if it's not the Bruins, if it's fucking the Montreal Canadiens right now, if that game tonight was Carolina or Dallas or Colorado or even Edmonton, probably for that matter, you are losing 10-1 tonight. Like, Steven Lorentz is walking away with the only goal of the game. I believe that. I mean, I think the Bruins just let their foot off the gas a little bit. I don't think they're the best team in the NHL, and I think that that's kind of where, like, it lets the Leafs back into this one a little bit. But otherwise, I think they get floored out of this building. But I'm with you, Alex. With that, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you calling in. Seems a very different tone than the last couple times I've spoken to you, but who knows? Maybe we're back here on Thursday saying we're back.
Yeah, you never know, but yeah, I'll definitely talk to you on Thursday, and yeah, hopefully we can be a little more positive on that day, but yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I guess the next couple days will be interesting, let's put it that way, but thanks for having me, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. There you go. There's Alex A jumping on here. We got a couple more people so that I want to get to. So we will sort this out here. But just quickly before I go to our next couple of callers, we do have super chats. I want to address those. And we did hit over 100 likes on the stream here tonight. So let's go to a couple of our super chats. First and foremost, we have a super chat that comes in from Detwin. Detwin says, trade AM34. He has been the common denominator. Look, I don't think you're going to trade these guys right now. I said it the other day on the post-game show. You know, you talk about window and all this kind of stuff. I think you've at least got to make your way through this year and see where you're at. Like, I don't think you trade these guys now or at the deadline is more so my point. Hey, maybe things change in the summer. Maybe you say this isn't it. Maybe they come to you and they say they're done. But I think where you're at right now, you don't. But I mean, I get it. I get the frustration. I get the grouping and looking at these guys and saying they've been here the whole time. It's frustrating. Angry Dolly Llama also. What's 34's favorite flavor of Simply? Def drinks some. I don't know. Simply were great drinks. But anyways, let's get to our next caller here. Waiting on the phone for a little while. I apologize for making him wait. It was a while that he sat there, but he stayed with it and is still here. So let's welcome to the show, I believe for the first time ever, Jacob. Jacob, how's it going?
Not too bad. How's it going, Zach? Do you have me?
Yeah, I got you there. I guess also not too bad. Like, at the end of the day, it's just hockey and it's just a hockey team. So, like, in the grand scheme of things, not too bad. But if we're going to talk about, like, if my livelihood depends on this team, fucking awful, Jacob. That's where I'm at.
I hear you, buddy. Hey, first of all, you got to shave off that silly looking mustache because, one, it's not the 70s, and two, you're definitely not a porn star, buddy.
Okay. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you making me laugh. I am raising money for Movember, so that's why I'm doing it. So I'll tweet out the link. We'll put it out. But that's why I've got the mustache. It's not just for fun, because I'm on the same page as you. I kind of look like shit, but I'm trying to raise money here.
Sorry, buddy. Just trying to lighten the mood up a little. So
I know. I feel you. I feel you.
Now about this fucking team of ours here, man. I think it's hilarious to me because I think it's so obvious, and I have no idea how the actual organization doesn't get it. We've had the same shit for 10 years. We've had GM changes, coach changes, management changes. Everything's changed. It's the same bullshit year after year, and it's pretty obvious. It's the heart of the team, and these guys that are on the ice. There's just a lack of balls. I mean, literally. They should, if it was an option to send these guys down to the WHL, it would be a great option because it's a bunch of vaginas. I mean, there's no balls, there's no heart, there's nothing. I mean, it's guys that just could give less of a shit except for a paycheck. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I look, dude, I'm with you. It's hindsight here now, but I mean, I think you look at it and you can start to. I mean, at this point, you can kind of finalize your opinions on it. But I think that having those four guys here and be the nucleus of this team the entire time was a massive, massive issue. Not because they weren't talented, not because they weren't skilled players or some of the most elite players from that standpoint in the NHL, but because they were all built the same. And as you said, and it's harsh, but 10 years into this, I think it's fair to say they're gutless. Like, they are gutless. They show up and do their jobs every night, and then they leave. Aside from that, there's not much more that goes on. And allowing them to stay together, allowing them to try year after year after year to run it back, I think caused major problems and just was a cancer to the organizational culture that you've developed here, where it was just like status quo is acceptable. These guys don't show up and they don't have that next gear. They don't have that next level of intensity. They are show up to the rink, do your job and go home kind of guys, not take this with you. And I'm not saying like going home and staring at the ceiling at night and contemplating life is the best way to approach things, but like, you know, feeling a bit of pride about what happens isn't a bad thing. And it feels like this group didn't have that, and they let them run it back year after year after year. And, you know, I think getting Mitch out of here, or one of the four at least, like we can just drop his name and just say one of the four, was probably the way to do it. But it was too little too late by the time that he left here for Vegas, and you didn't replace him with anything. And it's just, it's fucking this team right now, and it's really putting a damper on shit.
And I don't think it was enough either. I mean, I hear all these people that in the chat and everywhere, all the noise, fire Berube and stuff. Give your fucking head a shake. Berube is a world-class coach. He's won cups. He knows what he's doing. He has the right mentality. He has what this team needs. It's just that they're not fucking listening to him. You've got guys like Domi that are going out there and taking the worst penalties at the worst times, just dumb, stupid, unintelligent, no hockey IQ plays. You've got guys like Reilly, just everybody knows, right? He's playing ridiculous hockey. It's not even close to NHL level. It's like Pee-wee level. Carlo's not performing up. You can't have this many guys playing this terribly and think you're going to get anywhere with that. I mean, I think the obvious thing that just needs to be done, Berube needs to just literally bench some of the stars. He needs to take Reilly, sit them for a game, send guys down, make them play in the NHL for a while, make them feel embarrassed. I mean, so that when they come back, maybe they grow some balls and have some pride. I mean, if you're not going to take pride in the sweater that you're wearing, just get the fuck out. Like, sit on the bench, ride the lines, or sit in the AHL. I mean, it seems to me like that's the solution, but why don't they get it? Why doesn't it get done?
I'm with you that this can't fall solely on Berube's lap of the blame. I think that's completely unfair to suggest that they're playing this way because of Berube. I think they're playing this way because of whether it's the mind, the heart, whatever it is of the guys that are in that room. And specifically, I look at the core of it. And people are going to say, well, Mitch left, and so now who do you have to blame? It's Matthews and Nylander. I think it's just that whole nucleus of it all. Reilly in there as well. JT, Matthews, Nylander, like it's just being built, and that's who they are, and then that's kind of what everything feeds off of. So I'm with you. Like I the only reason I suggest firing Berube is because they're clearly not listening. I'm not even sure, like, Jacob, I'm with you. Obviously, there's guys you can't send to the AHL just because you physically can't. Like, you'll just lose assets for them. Like, they'll be gone. But I'm with you in terms of, like, embarrassing these guys and putting guys in the press box. I'm on the same page here, man. You got to do some crazy shit in a way to be like, wake the fuck up. You're not immune to this situation that's going on here. You're not excused from what's going on here. Go sit in the press box for a game. Go watch your team. Go be embarrassed. Go have articles and everything written about you, because we can talk about how bad it is in Toronto for the media here to do shit. Look, guess what will happen when Morgan Reilly goes and sits in the press box? ESPN, who doesn't seem to give a fuck about hockey, will lead off tomorrow morning's show with Morgan Reilly was benched. Like, they will do that, and that's going to be embarrassing for these guys. But 100%. The only thing, Jacob, these guys, they don't seem to be embarrassed. Like, they just don't have that in them. Get your shit pumped on a Tuesday. Get your shit pumped on a Saturday. Blow leads. Lose playoff games. We'll show. Oh, we played all right. We'll show up to the next one. So that's the only reason for me. I look at it and I'm like, maybe it's just you got to wipe the coaching staff, try something different, and then you kind of work your way back from there, because I don't even know how much more Berube can do other than, like, putting the entire fucking team in the press box at this point. But I'm with you, Jacob. I'm with you.
Everybody. Yeah, and it makes you wonder too. I mean, because of the culture and the attitude of some of these guys, if you sit them in the press box for a game or two, is it going to make a difference? Actually, are they going to think, I got to relax and I'm still getting paid for a day, right?
That's my concern. These guys are almost going to take it like, well, fuck, nice, day off. You're going to go eat some popcorn, hang out with the boys, have a beer the night before. Like, fuck.
It almost seems like that's the issue in the playoffs too. They start getting into round two, and they're thinking, wow, fuck, I'd like a little bit more summer and some golfing time. So maybe it's time to just be a lazy prick and not play, right? You wonder.
Exactly. Infuriating stuff. Anything else here sticking out to you tonight, Jacob, or whether it's about this game, the season as a whole, thoughts going forward? Like, where are you at right now? What else is on your mind?
The only other thing I could say is, like, about tonight's game, if you're looking for any positivity, any little glimmer of hope, it was that they showed at least a little bit of feistiness late in the game, a little bit of chippiness around the boards and stuff like that. But then again, stupid timing and going too far. I mean, Domi dropping the gloves when Zadorov didn't drop the gloves. I mean, it's a dumb penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they're showing anything, it's the wrong timing. It's just not hockey sense. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. And like where I'll like expand on this is that we're going to sound hypocritical here as Leafs fans. And I think you'll get this where it's like, well, you always ask for them to have a response. Yes. I'm glad that they had the response. And I'm on board with what you're saying where it's like, hey, I'm glad that they at least showed something. Because Nick and I talked about it. Years past, they go down 4-1 in this game. They are like scrum in front of the net. Get me the fuck out of here. Like, I want to go home. I want to get on the plane. I want to eat my steak and I want to get in my bed tonight. At least tonight there was some fight. Like there was some pushback. The point which I think you're getting to, and I agree with, and I'll expand and you tell me if I'm wrong, but you don't want this to be reactionary. You want this to be from the moment you step on the ice where you're mean and beating guys down and wearing them down. The Florida Panthers don't go out into a game and they're like, we're going to skill it up. We're going to score more goals than you. And then if it goes wrong, we're going to beat the shit out of you. They come out the gates and like stare at you in warm up and skate by the red line and fucking spit on you and say, I'm going to kill you. And then the second the puck drops, they attack. It's not reactionary toughness. It is built into them from the moment they wake up in the morning that they want to kill you to the moment that they go to bed. And they probably go to sleep dreaming about killing you. These guys are like, well, we got out of there in the third period and showed some fight. That was good enough. That's not good enough. You can't do that.
Yeah. 100%, man. What I consider it's too little, too late hockey is what they're playing. They wait until in a spot where they're kind of fucked and they're like, oh shit, we got to wake up. And they're already screwed. You can't play down 3 goals and come back every single game. It's a losing strategy. And it's what they continue to do. And it's, I'm surprised I have any fucking hair left on my head. I should have pulled it all out by now.
Dude, that's what I'm like. I'm looking at this and I'm like, people are going to look at me early in my career versus where I'm going to be at like by the end of it. And I don't think it's going to look like this anymore.
Well, look at Nick there. He's got the alopecia thing going on that I fuck with a little bit, eh?
All right. Anything else, Jacob? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you there.
No, that's all. I just said it's not genetics for him. It's a team. It'll do it to you.
Yeah, it probably will. Anything else, Jacob, here before I let you go?
That's it, brother. I just appreciate you having me on and good stuff. Love what you guys are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you calling in and giving your thoughts here. You enjoy the rest of your night the best you can. Look forward to seeing you in the chat and hopefully see you back here on Thursday. I'm happy to have you call back at any time. Cheers,
man. Have a good one.
There you go. There's Jacob. You too. I appreciate it. Appreciate the call here on the show tonight. I don't know why that thing's popping back up. There we go. Got it off the screen. Yeah, we'll get to one more caller here. There's a couple other things I want to get to. We still have 500 people watching here on the post-game show. So thank you to anyone who is watching, who's hit the like button, because we are currently now at 141 likes. So 9 more and we'll get ourselves to another set of smelling salts. But we'll do the ones for 100 here right now. And then we got, I think, Craig on the line. Hopefully I said his name right. If I didn't, he can correct me when he jumps in. But I'll do the smelling salts. I'll answer a couple super chats here quickly. But here's the smelling salts. There you go. It's the smelling salts. I swear these are a brand new bottle, and these things kick your ass. I had Rosie here. Tried to get him to do them. Wanted him to do it on the show, and then kind of forgot, and then time passed, and I was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. We'll move on. But quickly here, super chat, couple that did come in. Super chats, proceeds from our super chat do go to Sick Kids Charity. First super chat comes in from Robert Bett. Again, Robert here says, sorry, just not a Derek Lalonde fan. Look what he did in Detroit. Everybody says yes. Look what he did in Tampa as an assistant coach, but look at the elite defense he had. I think that's fair. And again, Robert, thank you for the super chat. Very generous at the donation there. I'm not going to disagree and say, no, Derek Lalonde is an amazing head coach. Like, who the fuck am I to say that here right now? It's not like he's had this unbelievable body of work. But what I'm going to say is, I'm not looking at this group and saying this is Derek Lalonde's fault. I just can't get there. And then there's another super chat that came in from Mike Fyodorov. There's nothing attached to it. It's just a super chat. But Mike, thank you for the super chat. So with that, let's get to our next caller here on the line. I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. And tell me if I said his name right. Prague. Did I say it right?
There's two ways to say it. You can say Prague like the city or Podog, but whatever. I'm good.
Okay.
Or you can say Prague like the city. Prague like the city is fine.
Prague like the city. I'll go with that one. How are you doing tonight, Prague?
Well, Leaf fans, let's see, before Wendell Clark's first season, but he was the reason I became a huge Leaf fan in hockey.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's just a little bit about me. Anyway, so I think it's been a comedy of errors for over 20 years. I think, like, you can tell me, okay, let's talk about the coach. Craig Berube caught lightning in a bottle. Jordan Binnington was in the ECHL. Can you tell me who is our Vince Dunn? Who is our Peter Angelo? Who's our, like, Vlad Tarasenko or ROR? Like, they had up and downs. We have Sammy Blais, but he was not as injured, right? So he won only one round after winning his Stanley Cup. So he had 5 months as a head coach in St. Louis, caught lightning in a bottle. They're last place, only team to ever do it. So tell me, how is he? I don't care. He has Stanley Cup things. It doesn't matter to me. I look at what he did. So now, second, he only won one round afterwards, and then was fired because he didn't make the playoffs. Great. Now he gets hired in last year, let's say. Okay, I hated the trading away Littleton, because if you look at him right now, he only has like 4 points on San Jose, but he's 0. He has a 0 plus or minus. Some people care. But like, he's playing top line minutes for the last since last year. He played here. He was top 4 until he got injured. The last year he was here, he played top 4 and was killing it.
Yep.
By every trick until he got injured. Then he came back and they never played him in the playoffs because, well, Keefe. Anyways, then we trade him for a 4th and a 6th, and Matt Benning, who's actually an NHLer, but we don't play him. We play Simone Benoit. But anyways, going back to anyways, we go back to last year. We'd win a game 1-0, 2-1, but we'd get caved in by everybody. San Jose was caving us in. Chicago was caving us in. Points. We had 2 goalies. One was 9-10, one was 9-26. Yes, they did better defensively, technically, a little bit better with the cross puck stuff. But we were getting caved in. They were not like, who was our best zone entry defenseman? Who blocked the most zone entries in all of his years? Timothy Liljegren. Who was our best passers in the last 3 years? Liljegren, Timmins. Timmins has 4 points on Buffalo, who's got so many injuries. We gave away Timmins and Dewar, who has 3 goals and 3 assists, I think, in Pittsburgh. We gave them away for a 5th round pick. All they thought about was getting somebody who's a 3C, an older 3C. He's not even a 3C. He was a 3rd line, 4th line winger who we're forcing into a 4C. I love his attitude. I think he's great in the room. But we paid what? A 1st round pick and Grabenkin. What did Florida pay for Marchand?
Yeah, no kidding. I think it was a
second.
I was gonna say second or third. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
And if you think about asset management, yes, we had to trade away a goalie, and our pick that was used was Sam Rinzel. Their 3rd line center on Dallas was our 30th pick that we got in trade for Phil Kessel, where we got the 30th pick overall from Pittsburgh, Sam Steele, and Kapanen. Look on any team. Like, I can tell you every name because I've been watching. I'm a huge fan. I'm like fanatical about it, but not in a bad way. Just like, I can't afford the tickets, but like, you know. So like, asset management has been poor every single time. You say we don't care about picks and this and that. Could we have gotten Dobson? No. Could we have gotten, like, they got Montreal did a great thing. They got Carey. I think his name's Carey, Alexandre Carey. He's a right hand.
Yeah, from Nashville. Yeah,
from Nashville for like a 4th-round pick.
Yeah,
he's better than every right-hand D we have currently. And I'll tell you right now, Carlo was good. Carlo was good until he started getting concussions. Then his ice time went down on Boston. He was the lateral. I think last year he was 6th in ice time for D. He's just big. And what did Lawton do that proved him to be any kind of winner? Yes, we've always needed scoring, but they never went for the scoring. They went for big and tough and this and that. That doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And then they go for Berube, who has this big and tough. We have everything that Berube wants in terms of his defense. And we have actually better talent. I like our forwards way better. But you're telling me we have problems with our defense, and David Kampf is in the AHL?
That's a good point.
Why? No, tell me, like we can't get out of our own zone. David Kampf is yes, he needed Mikheyev or Engvall to push the puck up. But we have enough speedsters now and enough passers and good quality players to work with him. And, well, I love Waugh. I love Michelli. And no matter what you say, he's actually doing something. He's getting points. He's doing something. Like, not every game he's not like that, but he's going to learn. But because he never got the opportunity. But he played with Krause. When he was getting the 57 and 49 points, he was playing on the wing, right wing or left wing, depending on the day, with Krause and Nick Bukestad. Bukestad's not had only 2 great seasons, but otherwise he hasn't done anything for a lot of years. Krause is amazing, but they work great together. So working with Waugh and Joshua is great. So like the thing is, my point is saying our defense is crap. We should put Benoit and Myers, put them on IR, pretend, I don't care. Matthews looks like he's depressed or doesn't give a damn because he has not looked, I don't care about his points or goals. When has he dominated? Tell me one shift he's dominated where you were like off the edge of your seat, where you were like...
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you on that.
Morgan Reilly, just tonight, there was nobody in his zone. He was picking up a puck on the right side behind, I guess it was Hildeby at that point. He had one person in front of him who's a Leaf. Behind him, he had 2 Leafs. He had 1 Leaf.
Yeah.
He rims it hard as he can the other way. So then there's this Leaf that's curling in the zone, and he's like jetting just to get to it and barely made it to beat the Boston Bruin. What the hell is this? Like, Morgan Reilly is giving away pucks when there's no pressure, when there is pressure, when there's little pressure. He's been throwing muffins every which way. I don't care about the points he had. Like, people tell me he has 13 points. Who cares? He needs to be traded. Sit him down. Sit Matthews down. Matthews needs to be sat down for games. Even if he's not injured, if he is injured, sit him down for a week. Do it on Hockey Night in Canada. Do it in front of his family. He has nothing. He has done nothing. He has been a complimentary player on the front. Well, he does. There's no reason in the world that Matthews needs knives. He doesn't need anybody.
Yeah.
Matthews,
well, he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
2 years ago, he was with who? Bertuzzi and Domi.
Exactly.
And he made them look like superstars. He got Bertuzzi a $5.5 million contract.
Yeah.
That's what. And look at Tavares. Tavares is 5 years older than him, or 6 years older than him. Look at Nylander. No matter what you say about Nylander, yes, he has a great attitude for this market because it's tough, but he's the only one. Him and Tavares always show up. I'm not very impressed by Nyes. Tonight he was like, he couldn't handle a puck. He couldn't pass it 2 feet. And there's a lot of games I don't find him very good. I've been saying that Nicky Robbie has had to play with somebody. He was always playing with like Kampf or Domi at center. I'm like, that doesn't work. So my point is, all the asset management, like look at the Kessel trade where we lost, who was it? Hamilton and what's his face? Sagan. Yeah. Everything is going wrong. So like my point is, everything you've said about the coach. If they're not listening to the coach, they need to fire him. But they also need to get rid of, I think the rot starts with Morgan. The rot starts with Morgan, and Matthews is right up there too, because I'll be honest, when have you been impressed by him in the postseason? In game 5 or 7, or even in the second round? One game maybe here? No,
I'm with you.
So like, to me, it's a defensive problem because they only go for big, slow, old. Like Tanev, there's a good chance he might have by the time.
I think the only thing is though that you look at these guys and you needed to get bigger, but you lost any ability to skate and to move the puck. And I think that they kind of went from having one and not the other to having the other and not the one. You know, you look at the guys that you mentioned, you talk about Liljegren, even relating back to Sandy and looking at some of the guys that you had in the bottom 6 here before. I look at those guys and I see what you're saying, and you're lacking those areas of the game that they had. But the honest response to it, though, is just when you got to the playoffs, you went and watched and said, wow, you're missing this other area. The thing that they made the mistake on was overcorrecting and getting way more of what you said that they were missing and losing what the other guys had. You look at the teams that are successful: Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton, Florida, Carolina, some of the teams that you just pointed out, some of the players that they had that you've brought up here to my attention. You look at some of those guys, the difference is just that the guys they have in the bottom, they do both. They do both well. You know, you brought in guys here to Toronto who load up your back end, who are supposed to be these big, physical, heavy guys. And now you look at Brandon Carlo, Simone Benoit, Jake McCabe, Philippe Myers. Like, they can't move the puck. They just can't move the puck.
Jake McCabe's a good skater. He's a pretty decent. He's not a great, but he's a decent puck mover. OEL is the best.
Yeah, he's fine. OEL is the best puck mover for sure. But Jake McCabe is fine. I just more so mean like you're looking at that and saying that's the barometer. Like, that's not an acceptable barometer in my opinion, right? Like, you need to go higher than that. And that's not to knock Jake McCabe. It's just like, if Jake McCabe is your third best puck mover, you're probably up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
Yeah, and the point is, remember, we always went with toughness. We got Lyubushkin twice or 3 times. We got Shen twice. That's why Littleton never played in the playoffs. That's why Nicky Robbie, we would never let him play anyone with any kind of skill. We dump him in the worst positions. So how are you going to develop a player?
But I think I think a guy like Nick Robertson, and like I've been giving him credit this season. I think a guy like Nick Robertson, though, in the past, and like again, some of this stuff we're talking about in revisionist, and I understand because a lot of it, as you've brought up, is led to where we are right now. But like a guy like Nick Robertson, he never fully came to even what he's doing right now. It's not like he was showing what he's showing right now before and they were just choosing not to play him. He never really got to this point. Like, this was lacking. You know, he deserves this opportunity right now. He deserves this platform right now, but it's not like he was just showing this and they were just choosing to put him in the press box. You know, like that's my disagreement with on that. Like, I think Nick Robertson works his bag off. I just think he just wasn't consistent before. And if he didn't have an offensive game where he was coming out and scoring, a lot of the other areas of his game were lacking. He's finally started to figure those things out, but just I give him the credit this year. If they were to pull the plug on him on Thursday, I'm going to sit here and yell, what the fuck are we doing? But in years past, it's not the same. It's not the same reaction to taking him out of the lineup or putting him down the lineup because he just can't. He couldn't string games together. And so he had the skill, but like, so did Dennis Malgin, and so did
bad trade. Archman trade.
that's a bad one. But like, he had skill too. Alex Kerfoot had skill. Calle Yarncroke has skill. I just think like a lot of these guys, they're just missing a piece. Now, have we overcorrected? Probably. I'm with you on that one. But again, like, you watch those guys, you put them in the lineup, and then you say something's missing, and then you take them out of the lineup, and it's like those things that those guys brought were missing as well. But the problem, and again, this is what happens when you go on the internet and you see like vibes versus chart people that happen is like the chart people are on this side saying Kerfoot and Yarncroke are amazing, and then the other people are on the other side saying Lawton and Lorentz are amazing, and it's like you just needed to find the guy who's in the fucking middle. Like looking at the guys who are on the Panthers, like Jonah Gadjevich is a guy who does both. Like Jonah Gadjevich is a guy who will go out there and poke your eyes out and then score 15 goals this season.
But okay. So I'm sort of both. You have to look at it, and I look at the numbers too, right?
Yes.
So I've never been like, I always, sometimes you miss something that you don't see in the numbers. No one ever said Kerfoot. Like Yarncroc, we know can play up. He's a jack of all trades. He's not like a master of any. And last year he was injured. So like I didn't take last year as anything. But I've looked at, like if you look at my comments on The Athletic or on other videos from way back in the day, I've always said like, people like to say we got really skilled up. When did we go really skilled? Because what we did was we got rid of Bozak for nothing. We got nothing in return. We got rid of JVR for nothing. Kadri, we gave up on because he had two like stupid things that happened. But like, regardless, he was a dog who was in the fight. Now with Nicky Robbie,
that was when they went really skill. Prague. Like that's when they went really skill. That period of time was when Kyle Dubas and co decided that was the direction they were going to head in. It was Sheldon Keefe come in. It was the Kerfoot and Barry, and you had Sandy and Liljegren come through.
Kerfoot and Barry was.
But that was that period of time where things transitioned that way, where it was like we are building on analytics and speed and expected goals and zone entries, which are all important, but it was overvalued. And that was the first issue where we went way the other way and tried to reinvent the wheel and say, we're going to be the first team in NHL history to win this way. And then now it's swung way the other way where we're trying to build it the other way and be like, we're going to be cavemen and bash everyone's heads in. And we can't fucking skate and move the puck anymore.
No, but like, okay, Kerfoot and Barry, even when they were traded for, I was like getting into analytics pretty hard at that time because I was trying to understand everything. Mm-hmm. And nobody liked it. Barry was like, people just basically said, he's like a dime store Gardner without the skill or the ability to do anything in the defensive zone. Yes, I love Gardner. I thought he was better than Reilly, but he screwed up here and there, but his game, his skating, everything else was better. And I'll take that to my grave. But the thing is, nobody liked Kerfoot. People were hoping that Barry could be a right-handed 3D who could do power play. People were hoping that Kerfoot could maybe be a 3C, but he's more of a winger, and that's like complementary, maybe on a 4. But like nobody thought that was a great deal. And the fact that we had to give extra to even get picks to even get to them was brutal, because we would have gotten Brody and Jankowski. Jankowski would have been bad, but Brody would have been good. But anyway, so my whole point about Nicky Robbie, the only reason he showed what he could do is because one of the things I didn't like I like Berube generally. Like I thought his ideas are good. He just doesn't have it's not the right team for it. In certain ways, right? I like his idea of being, cutting off the middle, cutting the what they call the Royal Road passes or whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. But we kept on getting caved in, so I didn't like that. But the only reason Nicky Robbie got a chance or Robertson got a chance is because he put the blender in a blender. Like he kept on there was no chance for anybody to get used to any line, not even Auston Matthews, not Nylander, not Tavares. And that was a huge problem. And that's the only reason that Nicky Robbie got a chance in the top line, or, to show what he can do and get like a few more minutes. And that's how he showed. Otherwise, every other team, like every time, if you look at his minutes and who he played with, these were non-skilled or like basically capping and kind of like people who are fast, but don't know what to do with the puck once again in the front, in the end, in the offensive zone. No right. Passing skill, no nothing. So anyways, my whole point is, I think if anything, I would try to, I would put my goal would be Simone Benoit on IR, put Philippe Myers on IR. We have Villeneuve, William Villeneuve, he's a 6'2", great passing. He's not the best skater, but who cares? He can do it. We also have Matt Benning, who's 6'1", and until he got injured a couple of years ago, he was a sought-after commodity. I think he was at $3 million during the pandemic for 3 years until he got injured. So and people were saying we couldn't trade half our team for him, like when he was on the other team. So I think we need to play.
Matt Benning.
Yeah, trust me, people are idiots on Twitter. But I don't
know about that. I don't know that Matt Benning was.
No, but
I don't know. Prague. Let's get to. I want to get your final thoughts just on this team here now. Not previous teams, not previous constructions. Just one final thought here on what's going on right now with this team and where you're at. Again, not back to Matt Benning and Bozak and JVR and stuff. This team right now as constructed, just a final thought from you.
You got to get rid of Morgan Reilly, bench him until he agrees to leave. You need to toss Philippe Myers and Simone Benoit into the sun. Try to get some picks and prospects for him, or a player of some sort. There's always people who like those guys, so big and right-handed, or big, fast, and Benoit and a fighter. But we need to get rid of a bunch of players. The only 3 defensemen I'd keep is OEL, Tanev, for sure, and McCabe. Carlo, I'd want to boost his. I want to boost his value, and then trade him to Seattle for their 4 first-round picks they have the next 2 years. Because maybe
who? Sorry,
Carlo. Trade him for 4 first-round picks if you can, because he has 2 years left. Eat half his salary if you have to. I don't care.
There's no way they're getting that return, but that's optimistic.
No,
but they're not getting that return.
Boost them up as much as you can.
I don't know how much you can polish that turd. That's not happening. 4 first-round picks.
No, but
at this point, you're lucky to get rid of the guy for a fifth right now. You're scraping by. You're moving the guy off, and somebody's doing you a favor by taking that contract on. I get the optimism, but
no,
that's just not happening in Prague.
Just dreaming. I'm a Leaf fan. I have to dream because I've had 40 years of pain. But I
get it.
But anyways, I want to thank you, Zach, for doing this every evening and letting me chat so much. I look forward to the next time, my brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in.
We disagree.
I'm okay to disagree with anybody. I just want to know why. Why do you disagree? The only thing that drives me nuts is when people in the chat just say, "You're an idiot. You're wrong." It's why? Let's hear it. Why? So I appreciate you coming on here and saying your thoughts here, Prague, even though we disagree on some stuff.
One last thing.
Yeah.
One of the problems with for living is he likes big and long, right?
Yeah.
He passed over. There's a reason he passed over Lane Hudson. He passed over.
Well, I mean, he didn't really. I don't know that he passed over.
Name a player. Name a player that was 5'7" or 5'8" or 5'9" that he's picked outside of Andrew Mangiapane, and that was
Easton Cowan was one. That was the first one that he picked.
But he's 5'11".
Okay,
and he was a
smaller guy.
Yeah, but he was touted pretty heavily, and they thought he had fire. So 5'11" is probably the smallest, but he Lane Hudson, everybody knew about him. He was breaking records. Cole Hudson, his brother, 1 year younger or 2 years younger. He's in Washington. Cale Makar, he's 5'11". I'm saying he might have if we had picks, if we had anything. I'm looking at his whole history. What did he do in Calgary? What did he do? I love what he's done in terms of contracts. Yeah. I love what he's done in a lot of ways, in terms of forwards. Yes, but yeah, I'm not a fan of what he's done. So otherwise, anyways,
Prague.
But anyways, have a great night, my friend. Have a great night.
Thank you. Appreciate you calling. There you go. There's Prague jumping on here tonight. Appreciate it. We'll wrap up with a couple more things before we can close out tonight's show. It's been a long one, but we do have to get to some of our segments. I don't know. I don't know where people are at. I think we could probably skip the play of the game tonight. I don't think that there needs to be a play of the game, but I do want to get to our best bet segment to recap that. So our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, NATION. That's code NATION, NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Getting to our best bet to recap what happened here. So let's start with the real negative for the best bet. We had really tiny bets. Let's make sure that that's clarified. This was really tiny bets on Auston Matthews to get 2+ and Auston Matthews to get 3+. $5 lost on the 3+, $15 lost on the 2+. Grand scheme of things, not that big of a deal. Lost $20 on that one. Those were some fun ones. There were some tiny bets. That brings our record on the year to 9-16. But I'm not worried about the record. I'm worried about the profits. The profits on this one so far in the season now $160. We are still up 1.6 units. If you follow every bet, the size of the bet, and we get to you bet it at Bet365, you'd be up $160 here at least on the season. Also, the other bet that we had was William Nylander over 2.5 shots on goal at +100. William Nylander, thank fucking God, had 7 shots on goal. Thank you, William Nylander. That is $75 profit from our boy, Willie Nye. That brings us up on the day. So we lost $20 total to the Auston Matthews stuff, who obviously left this game with injury. And then we get $75 of profit back from William Nylander, which makes us positive $55 on the day, bringing our total to a profit of $235 on the season. That would be 2.35 units on the year, and that would bring our record to 10-16. If there's anything here, this proves or should prove at least, that you don't need to be a positive record to win in sports betting. You just need to bet the right things. So there you go, up $235 profit on the season. Before we move forward, 172 likes here on the show. That means the third set of smelling salts for tonight. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Just a quick note, if we get to 200 before the end, we'll do it again. So thank you for liking. Let's get to 200 though. Here's the smelling salts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that happens, whether it is the post-game shows just like this one. If it's a Leafs Morning Take, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, producer Vic, giving some hot takes. I'm interested to see what he's got to say tomorrow. It's all happened here. Right here on the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel. Also a note to people, if you want to just listen to this back, if you missed the video, you want to listen to it in the car, you want to listen to it in the gym, whatever, you can find us on all podcasting platforms. TLN After Dark, the Leafs Nation After Dark, so make sure to check us out. But before we can go forward, we got a couple more things to do. We'll go first and foremost to the next super chat that we have. Last super chat here of the night. This one comes in from JD Anderson Comedy. Thank you, JD. That would be Jacob, who did call in earlier. Proceeds from our super chats go to Sick Kids Charity. JD Anderson Comedy says, donation for the Marathon Rant show tonight, Zach. Thanks for having my sorry ass on. Thank you for calling in. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thanks to everybody who stuck along throughout the entire show. We've been at it for almost 2 hours here on the post game. I know that this is a long one. I know my roommates are probably not the most impressed that I've been yelling and screaming for 2 straight hours, but sometimes it calls for it. And tonight, it called for it. Let's keep it going here on the post-game show, though. To wrap things up, we have Crave the Stats, and we have our best, not our best bet, sorry, our grade of the game. Crave the Stats, just going to kind of quickly run down a box score so we get an idea of who performed and who didn't, because I think for the most part here, a lot of people didn't in this game tonight, but Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Pretty sick to have Uber Eats part of the show. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app, from game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Every time the Leafs are playing at home, you can get these exclusive deals in Toronto only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. Bogo, of course, is buy one, get one before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Look, I mean, Uber Eats is an absolute savior. When we go from ripping through the content all day here, doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to pretend like I have this super hard job. I know I get to watch hockey and talk about hockey, and it's a dream, but sometimes it can get busy and you can get lost in the day, and Uber Eats sitting there being as convenient as it is a pretty unreal thing to have on my phone, and saves me a lot of days, especially when all of a sudden I'm sitting down going, oh shit, it's almost 7 o'clock. I got to watch the Leafs game here now. Uber Eats comes in clutch. Let's quickly run down what we got for box score. I mean, you know, you look at guys playing minutes tonight. Sammy Blais plays the least amount of minutes of all forwards, of all players on the Leafs, with 8 minutes and 34 seconds of time on ice. Goaltending, jump in there. Anthony Stolarz, 3 goals on 10 shots. He had a 700 save percentage. He was terrible tonight. Love Stoley, love, you know, his energy and what he brings to the game, and I think he will get this figured out, but right now he's not getting any help in front of him, and he is not backing up the comments he made the other day. He's been really, really struggling, and the last 2 games has been absolutely terrible. Like, there's some unacceptable goals that are being scored on him right now that you just cannot let slide. You know, Dakota Joshua, -1. Bobby McMahon, -1. John Tavares, -1. Jake McCabe, -2 on the night. You look at guys like Reilly, Myers, Brandon Carlos somehow walks away with an even on the night. Nylander, even. It's the shot leaders for this one. William Nylander, 7. Nyes, 5. Outside of that, the Leafs aren't generating much. You know, Sammy Blais, 2 shots on goal. Domi, 1. Lorentz, 2. Michelli, 1. McMahon, 2. Robertson, 1. Nick Waugh, 2. John Tavares, 1. Auston Matthews, 0 shots on goal tonight. I know we played 10 minutes and 51 seconds, but like 10 minutes and 51 seconds with no fucking shots is unacceptable, especially when you're looking at going, we started like shit. Well, where was the captain? For the first 10 minutes and 51 seconds that he played, he didn't register 1 shot on goal. Not 1. He had 1 hit, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 plus minus, 0 shots on goal, 0 block shots, 0 penalties, 0 giveaways. So sure, great. 0 takeaways though. Like it's unacceptable, honestly. It's unacceptable. You can't, and I think this has been one of the biggest issues these guys have had all season long. You just can't show up like this, or fail to show up like this, and expect things to be good or different. Also, final stat of the day that I want to get to here, posted in the chat to start the show. There's 752 viewers, 754 votes, 55, it's climbing, on the poll here tonight that was put up in the chat. What do the Leafs do now? Nothing, they're fine, 17%. Fire Berube and staff, somehow in last place right now, 11%. 41% say massive culture changing trade, and then 32% say blow it up. I'm surprised that Fire Berube and staff is 11%, because to me, that's the first move that you got to make, because it's the easiest one. It's the most realistic one, and then after that, it's figuring out whatever the fuck you can do with guys who have no moves and big contracts and haven't been performing, and figuring out how do you replace those guys. Okay, final thing. Let's get to our grade of the game. This one is simple. It's straight up an F. This is a complete failure from start to finish, from top to bottom. Everybody on this roster, everybody in that room, everybody on the bench failed here tonight. There's no way around it. This is a complete and utter failure from start to finish. I don't care about the pushback late. I mean, the only person who deserves any type of positive is Dennis Hildeby, who gets a .905 save percentage, lets in 2 goals on 21 shots. You can get that if you want. But this is another failure. And we are 17 games in, and this might be a record for most fails given in a season by myself. Like, I don't think I've ever handed out this many, and to be 17 games in, handing out failure after failure after failure after failure is just unacceptable. But it's another night with another failure. There's no way around it. This is pathetic from this group. No response, no show up. Too little, too late for these guys yet again. You cannot be doing that. That's it. That's it. Like, fail. Something changes tomorrow. Something changes tomorrow. It has to. That's it for me here tonight on the Postgame Show. I appreciate everyone who watched, liked, subscribed, tuned in. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube as well. Reminder, turn on automatic downloads on all podcasting platforms for the Leafs Nation after dark. 2 hours of show, and we are at 400 viewers still here on the Postgame Show. You guys are some sick fucks. Much like myself, so I'm not excluding myself from that. I am as well. I watch this every night and deal with this pain and misery and then come here and talk about it with you guys. But regardless, you stuck with it the entire time. You called into the show. Alex, Jacob, Prague, Nick Alberga for jumping on earlier. Thank you to everyone. Thanks to those in the chat. Thanks to those who sent super chats. Thanks to those who liked. We appreciate all of you guys. Like and subscribe on your way out. I will see you back here on Thursday for a pregame video. If any breaking news happens, that'll probably pop up in the next little while here on the channel as well. And then on Thursday, we will be back for another postgame after the game against the LA Kings. I don't even know at this point if it's good or bad if they play well on Thursday. Like, I'm not even sure. Because if nothing changes between today and Thursday, and then they win on Thursday, is that actually good? Who knows? We'll break it all down on Thursday. Thank you for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you on Thursday. Till then, find it somewhere within you. Maybe it's not about this group or the coach or the GM, but find it somewhere. Just think about the blue and white, the Leafs logo. Think about that. Find a way to keep believing in that. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on